Hello there again, and welcome to the new Nordic Wave of Change podcast. My name is Ronnie Eriksson, and I will act as the host today. And we're closing in to the summer right now, so the summer vacations here in Finland especially are starting. And for us, the Norders, it's been a wonderful year. We have had many wonderful things happening. And because of the wonderful things, we also have been able to meet amazing people. And one of those persons is actually joining us in today's episode about Nordic leadership, but also about how the Nordic culture has fueled its individuals in collaboration in different kind of perspectives. And today with us, we have a professional basketball coach, the Finnish national basketball team's head coach and speaker, but also a Nordic leadership advocate, Henrik Dettmann. Welcome, Henrik.
Thank you so much.
It's a great pleasure to have you here, and I know that especially for sports, the pandemic has been a hard time. What has been your take on this pandemic, and how has it affected basketball?
Well, on basketball, the effect has, of course, there's no public and no spectators, and that had it at the beginning, of course, an effect. The players were confused; they didn't know really how to react. But we humans, we find our way, and especially athletes find our way probably even faster than average humans. So they were able to adapt, and I don't think from that perspective the pandemic has had very much impact. Then of course there's all these other aspects that what it has on youth sports and think about kids and they haven't been able to play, they haven't been able to compete, they haven't been able to meet their friends in more than a year, and I think this is a price we're going to pay for in the future.
Makes a lot of sense. And in addition to that, I was reading this Helsingin Sanomat Visio article about you, where you were saying that this new wave of using Microsoft Teams, for example, won't be that good anymore in the future. Could you elaborate a bit on that?
Well, I think we're all full of it already, and you know, sitting here together and talking to each other and seeing watching his own eyes and seeing all the body language and the reaction that we give and actually the message that we transmit through our bodies, we need this, and we also need to meet people to be creative, to get new ideas, to kind of to get energy, and I don't think you get too much energy when you look at the laptop day in, day out. I think that's devastating, actually.
I agree totally, and the reason why I also agree is that, well, I've been a basketball player myself. I know how it is to be on the court, but I also been an active person following the Finnish sports culture and watching these sports events. And then it's never the thing that you see in the TV that makes you like light up. It's the people around you. So those other people watching the game, and or then in the basketball court or wherever you are, it's the people there who make you light up.
I fully agree.
Really good. But if you read a bit of articles about Henrik Dettmann, and what you find there is that you're one of the most maybe successful basketball coaches, what people say, and you have a pretty interesting career working both within the Finnish sports industry, but then also abroad, especially in Europe. Could you elaborate a bit on like how your story has started and what took you to Germany and then back to Finland?
Well, I coached club teams in the 80s, and then I became a national team coach in the early 90s. I took over the Finnish national team in 92, and then we got an upswing there right away. One reason for the upswing was only that I got the best players to play. This is the key. You got to get the best people around, and then let them do the job, and enjoy the success that the people are giving you. And as a result of this, we ended up playing some preparation games against Germany in '95 when they were preparing for the, and we were preparing for the Eurobasket, and we kind of showed a totally different spirit than the Germans did, and after this game, actually a year later, I was contacted with the German federation, asked if I want to come over and coach their national team, because they had some problems with their kind of with getting the best players, with the approach, with getting the spirit into the team, and they kind of probably fell in love with the Finnish spirit that we had at this time, and the kind of they call it unorthodox behavior, which I don't know if it was unorthodox, but maybe in a German wise, kind of German wise, it was unorthodox. So that kind of gave me a chance to go abroad and see other cultures, which was very, very. That's where you learn. That's where you learn the most. Don't stay home.
Well, I agree. When you went to Germany and like they took you because of these like Finnish processes or Finnish models how to coach, how did like the landscape in Germany differ from the Finnish landscape that you were used to?
Well, of course, it was totally different, and they had coaches from the Balkan countries, and so they were very kind of one man, one show, and there's probably not too much of democracy of how you run the team, or it was kind of a very masculine environment. And one of the first things which I recognize is that when I went, we had a camp, and I went one morning for breakfast, and then I went to sit at the same table as the players. And the players were really they were confused. How is it possible the coach is sitting with us? And of course I wanted to sit with them, because I wanted to know what's going on. I wanted to know the feeling. I wanted to get a feeling on what's in the core of the whole thing. The core is the team. The core is the players. And if I don't know what they're thinking, what they're feeling, what their thoughts are, I can't lead them. And at this moment I realized that, well, there's a big difference already when you go, like, you fly 1 to 2 hours south in Europe, and the cultures are different. Even if at the same time there's very many cultural aspects in Finland and Germany that are very close to each other, and we are for example, the aspects are closer to the Finnish. And Germans are closer to each other than the Germans and the Swedes, for example.
Yeah, well, makes a lot of sense. I also see a lot of people going from Finland, for example, to work in Germany, and they actually fit to the system really well.
Because we follow the rules. The Swedes don't follow the rules. They have their own rules. The individuals have different. They have different approaches, and well, that's. But yes, we kind of. And also the Germans, the needle leader, and the Finns also, they at least the Finns have been educating the way that they needle leader. Probably the new generation has more kind of been able to escape from this strong kind of. Here in Finland, you would call it Kekkonen time. But
yeah, we need to put some information here in the podcast about what Kekkonen time actually is, but it's really interesting. But despite of all of those differences and or all that you saw there, you were still able to create a bit of success also there in the German team, and actually like pretty big success on the World Cup level. So what do you think worked really well in the things that you were bringing in?
Well, first of all, we won a bronze medal in Indianapolis 2002, which is still the biggest achievement in German basketball. On the world level, so that was a nice journey, and I was lucky, of course, because we got good players, we got a good generation there, and this is one thing which you gotta have to remember always. But at the same time, by approaching this generation like giving room for individuals and giving responsibility to the individuals. That gave that when they got more space, they also they were able to give more, and they started to feel good with each other. And then one big part of this was a multicultural team. This is like, you look in Germany, like the German sports got probably worldwide known for a multicultural team in 2006 with the World Cup in soccer. But we were the real first multicultural team in Germany, which was in 2002. We had, and there were some of my not German friends who said you're successful because you have only teams only half German. So, but that was there's a part true of this. I think we to be successful you have to have the diversity.
Yeah, I believe in that too, and you can also see it in the working life as well. So the more diverse the teams are, the better they succeed. And we have many marketing agencies, for example, who have, like you ask TBWA, why are they successful or why have they been so successful? Because we have a diverse team. Yeah. It's always the same answer. So I see a lot of truth in that. And well, now latest like North Star coming here from the Nordic region is Avakkuer, for example, as a player, and some of the like comments in the newspapers haven't been that beautiful against that, even though it's one of the like coolest things that have happened ever to basketball here in Finland. I think
this is a wonderful story. It's the story that a refugee who leaves their country and takes their family comes up north and find a place to live in Kotka, which is and then suddenly the neighbor calls the local basketball coach that here's a big girl that you have to get her to practice, and the story kind of continues, and the parents how they support her, and now of course a 20-year-old girl playing in WNBA. I think it's an incredible story. I think it has much more than just the success of our women's basketball in this. There's the whole story. I think it's a success of our system, which still could be much better. But and I think this is this should encourage everybody to kind of give the people with the talent to give them the opportunity, and then it's up to each of us if we are able to catch it and what we make it out of it.
Yes, and I think this highlights really well something like we talk a lot about, like we have the communist model and we have the capitalist model, but in the Nordics I think we have something called the talentist model, which puts like all the individuals on the same base. Still there is of course some of the like all historical racism and these kind of things that affects it, but in essence all the young people have the same opportunities, and then it's up to them and their supporting organizations to see how they leverage that talent.
Yeah, that comes from our schooling system, but I think also comes from the way we are with each other, and here you gotta give credits to the Swedes. Even if you should not give too much credits to the Swedes, but you have to give credits to them. They've been able to kind of lower this hierarchy and you're allowed to say du to kungen. So that's vi hälsar alla kungen.
That's a big step. Yeah. So 2002 you won the bronze medal, and after that what happened?
Well, then I coach a club team. Was an interesting project going on, but unfortunately the team went bankrupt, and so I had to look for new things, and then I was approached by the Finnish Federation, and they wanted me to coach the Finnish national team, and I did it on distance for 2 years. That didn't work very well. We got something going, but and at the end, then there was a lot of things happening. So I kind of decided to come back to Finland, and then we kind of wanted to bring in all the experience that I had from the world and from my time in. I was 9 years in Germany, so I kind of saw what it takes to bring a team to the highest level, and what kind of competition and what are the demands there. So I started to slowly implement these things here in Finland, not alone, but with people around me. You can't do anything alone. You need a team, and we had a group of guys who thought that now it's time to make a change here and higher the standards and look for better results. Not being afraid of probably not achieving the results. We just say, well, we want to go there, and we want to be a factor in basketball. I think we have done a pretty good job. When I started, Finland was ranked on the world ranking in the men's team on number 87, and we were the best. We were number 21 in the world ranking. So that was like a nice journey. And we are still kind of, we also been awarded with the FIBA golden ball for working in the youth rankings because of the development of our youth program. So it was not only one team; it was the whole program, and that was also the whole thought from the beginning that. I think that the most important thing, the biggest achievement you can do is you get some keys when you start, and when you leave off the keys. The level you have to be on a different level. That's like running a private business. I think the same thing.
Exactly, and I think like the whole journey in Finnish basketball. I think I stopped playing myself when like 5-6 years ago, and like. Kind of like when I stopped, or just before I stopped, this big wave started to happen. So we started to see like the Susijengi, the Wolfpack. It was everywhere. There was thousands and thousands of people sitting and like booking their trips to all of these different tournaments that were happening around the world. And you introduced something called the sixth player. And I think this was maybe the biggest game changer for me, because we started to talk about that there's always one extra player on the court for Finland. So even though we're 5 million people and 5 players on the court, we are always one player stronger together. So how did this come to happen, and what is the sixth player actually about?
No, that was really smart move from our marketing department. They and we have. None of our players can wear the shirt number 6, because that's the shirt that we're giving out for the fans, and that's the sixth player. So and it's also that we want to show that the fans are important for us, and they are important for us. That gives us a reason to do all these things. We want to create. Enjoyment. We want to create stories. We want to create fun for more than only for ourselves. And we also understand that without the fans, without creating a meaning for somebody, what we're doing is worthless. It's a story that we built together, and that's why we created this group of that we call the six players, and we also try to bring them close to the team and create a communication, and I think we are doing our marketing department is doing a really good job on this, and also our players understand this. They understand that this is an important part of the whole program. Yeah. We had 10,000 people in Bilbao. 2014 we had 5,000 people in next year in Montpellier, more than 5,000. We sold out all our home games 2017 when we played the Eurobasket at home in Helsinki. Now we're going to Prague next year, and I meet people on the street all the time who already tell me that I booked the hotel, or I booked an apartment, and we are expecting a lot of people there too.
Amazing. Congratulations, by the way, for making it to the Euro Cup once again. Like, it's a great achievement, and you have a great team. So, looking forward for the games.
Thank you.
I think the six-player thing is also on the Nordic level something we have experienced like in many ways. And if you look at Iceland, for example, especially during the football games, they had their whole like thing going on. And like we were also talking with you about these Nordic championships that are organized for the youth, especially here in Finland each year. And that when you go there, you can actually see that these Icelandic families, they always bring like a couple, 2-3 people with them, each of the players. Why do you think that in Nordics we are so close communities in a sense?
Well, that's a good question. Of course, there is a cultural background, and even we Finns, we are no Vikings, but there is this background which brings the people together. Then there is, but Finland is, and that's why it's so important for Finland to be a part of this, because we have gained so much of the culture that the other Nordic country has been able to give us, and hopefully we get able to give something back. But this And I think the basic thing is that there is a low hierarchy and the equality for the people. We try to give everybody a good start to life, and that's thing that we also should strongly protect. This in modern life, this is not easy, but this is a value that is so great for all of us, and I think that's the basic reason for our schooling systems, is the basic reason for our success.
So true. And now maybe like going up to it on the personal side, as this is a subject that I really love, but I remember those times before the military when my basketball flame started to get smaller. And what you said there earlier about this kind of that you actually play the sport for the people around you. You play it for the sake of entertainment in a sense, but then of course for yourself. I kind of never developed that kind of motion. I always played for my mother. I did that a lot, and appreciate her a lot for pushing me, and I wouldn't be here today without that. But I kind of lost that spark of why am I actually doing it and for who am I doing it. And as a coach, how do you see that we could develop this meaning in the sports for people more?
Well, that's at the end, I think everything is about your motivation, and the motivation varies during your life. Depends on what's going on in your life, and I can understand that okay, like you said, one of your motivation was to play basketball was for your mother, because she wanted you to have a hobby or something to do and somewhere to use your energy, so you don't do it on something stupid, and I think that's really valuable. And I think we oversee this too much. I think this is a thing which is really, really valuable. And then also, of course, the other thing is that when you go to a group, you meet other people, you learn to accept other people, you learn to behave, you learn to follow the rules. All these small basic things that are such a important and base for your life. And then you learned all of this. So then probably you were searching for something else, and then there was no meaning anymore for your game. Okay, the meaning was that probably that you did some exercise and that probably you felt good in your body, but I think that's normal. At the end. The biggest thing, of course, that keeps you going is as long as you learn something new, and probably it's also there was a day where you didn't learn something new because there was not enough challenges, or maybe you just didn't have the right talent for basketball, or you didn't, or at least you didn't have, like you said, you didn't have the right passion at that moment. You had passion for something else.
Exactly. That's really well put. And maybe that takes us to a next good question, in my opinion, which is that we, the Nordics, and especially Finland, is an extremely small country, which means that we have a lot less resources for each of the different things we do, such as, for example, coaching or basketball organizations. And that tends us to leave us in the situation that the coach has a really hard choice in their hands. The choice is to either focus on the individuals or then focus on the team and the team's victories. How do you think we could manage that we could get this even support for both of those elements?
Well, there's no game without players. So you got to figure on and as a coach, I can't coach teams. I can coach only players. I can only help them to learn. I can lead teams, but that's another story. That's when I try to keep up the motivation, it's about you and how much you learn, how much you're willing to challenge yourself, how much you're willing to go out of your comfort zone to extend your comfort zone and find new areas where you learn and through this you get the passion and through this we also think you can get people to commit. Then then you also there's the other rule is that there's nothing bigger than the game. The group is always bigger than the individual, and it's at the end it's not what I go there and take for me. It's like Kennedy said, what I do for my team, for my country, and I think this is a thing which these values they are around in our society. They are in other societies. They are probably not much. There is much about me and me and me, and here we talk much more than us and us and us, and we also understand that like I said earlier today, we could have never had this success, but without having a group of people who commit and work together. We had the marketing people who found out the wolf pack and the six players, and we had the coaches, the youth coaches, and who started work with the youth, and they accept their role, and then they learn and we help others, and at the end, when you talk about high level sport, it's entertainment. If we can't entertain people, nobody's going to pay our salaries.
And this is something really, really like interesting, because you think about it, like people often tend to look at when you win a game, then they look at the coach and then they look at the players, and they made it happen. But then actually what you're saying here is that actually like to make all those players motivated and to make that whole sixth player motivated, you actually need to have all these different departments working together. So it's actually about a successful organization, again, more than the individuals doing it. I like that a lot.
Well, that's what's happened in the pandemic at the beginning. That when there's no spectators, there's no reason to go and play, because the players are not playing for themselves. They play for the fans. They also, someone probably didn't understand it before. Now I think all players understand that they are entertainers.
Yeah, and I think also like now Finland is also waking up more and more into that, as we have like these great examples who kind of like get that huge amount of followership, and then that followership start to follow into different games and different things that are happening. Like just having Lauri Markkanen, there is a great example who rapidly grow on different social medias after his like entrance and good first years. You're also renowned as a speaker in business, and what do you think is the like big relation between business and sports, or is it like that they are really similar?
Well, usually when I speak about basketball, because I don't know anything about anything else. And okay, I used to say that in my young days I had a real job. I was working in a bank, and actually before this I was a salesman and selling computer software. But this. When you talk, when I talk about basketball, and then it's your choice to find the comparisons and find the thing that fits into your thoughts. And I know there's a lot of similarities and this at the end it's about people. It's about people and how people function and how people function together and my experience comes from basketball, and other people's experience comes from other things, but no game without players.
Exactly. And it's been beautiful to see, like now in Finland, the past 10 years, as we have had this startup boom, and many of these like small startup companies have been formulated, especially by the young people. And most of those young people tend to be like ex-sports people. And then they have this kind of like synergy, how to come together, and then they have this locker room kind of like lifestyle that you have, that you then spend your nights and evenings together, maybe talking about the game that you just had or the company you just built. And I think that's also where I found my another home, because after 10 years in basketball, you move into that environment and suddenly you have a new team you sit down and work with. You have been the past years also focusing a lot on the youth and empowering the youth and building, for example, new supporting elements for the youth, such as collaborations with high schools and different kind of organizations. How do you think the Nordic model and our Nordic like basis allows us to create a more inclusive sports environment within the schools, as we have, for example, in the States?
Well, here I think we have a huge challenge, and we have kind of in Finland. Now I talk about Finland. In Finland, in the beginning of the 70s, we outsourced the sports to the third sector, and it was a smart move at this moment, because we needed more people to work with our youth and more people involved in creating the community and the society. and so by bringing in enthusiastic people, we got things going. But things are changing, and actually these people who were helping the youth, working during their doing something during their spare time, there was no competition. Now there's a huge competition about the spare time. And this competition is led by professionals, by psychologists, by people who make millions and billions, and the only thing they think about, how can we take a hold on your spare time, and we kind of these people who used to run these clubs and all, they're overwhelmed with the challenge. Some of them can do it, but also they need to get more so-called professional. They need to get better leadership. They need better knowledge about how you treat and how you are with kids, and how to motivate them, and how to get them excited, and at the end, it's about education. You have to have well-educated people who know what to do with others, and when you talk about kids, you talk about pedagogics. It's about do you have good pedagogics around? In schools we have, but how many of them do we have any more involved in sports? In Finland, we have like 3,000 physical teachers who get a physical education. But they don't work. 3,000 people doesn't work with the kids with their physical education. They're all in all other businesses because they get more money or get better opportunities, and only a small part of them are anymore working with the kids in the schools. And then at the same time, they are given 2 hours a week to work with the kids, which gives them no chance to really implement their work.
Yeah,
we have a huge problem here.
Exactly. And then we're also competing with the phones nowadays.
Yes.
It's like each of the childs carry a phone with them the whole school day, and that's something that affects them all the time. But then no one walks around with a basketball in their hand anymore, and that's sad in many ways. So we had some great examples though in that. I think like these kind of like North Stars leading that evolvement, and also actually been fostering amazing players. So we have Mäkelärinen Urheilulukio, so the sports academy of Mäkelärinen, and then we have this Omnia project that they started. So it's more related to high school, right?
Yes,
yeah.
Yes.
And that was also really successful the first year was it?
That's an integration program which is really good for us, and I think it's like we try to integrate people into the society through sports, and that brings them together. I think this we should have in much more, and maybe the important thing is that this is a program where there is competitive sports. It's like you also demand something from the people that when that if you are coming to be in this program, you have to commit to school, and you have to commit to basketball. And then these other programs that we are running for the youth with this, like you said, this Mäkelärinen, what we call the Helsinki Basketball Academy, which actually already starts from kids when they're 13, when they go into Pohjois-Aika yhteiskoulu, and then they kind of this is like a pre-preparation to become a professional athlete, and this is a profession which it's a growing profession in the future, and we also want to have Finnish kids, boys and girls, having the opportunity to become professional athletes. That's like, and that we are in the old days. You probably talk about that you have two professions. Now we talk about your first profession is you're a professional athlete, and then going to school, you build the base to have then a second profession, as your first profession was playing basketball on the backyard and making your mother happy and hopefully yourself happy a little bit too, and then you used all this base for what you're doing now. Yeah. Without this, you have had no chance.
Exactly.
Because you learn to that you need to work yourself, you need to work hard, you need to be committed, you need to take risks and you need to also be able to work together with other people.
Exactly. And those are the kind of like elements of success nowadays. It's we had here at the Dream Studio also Perttu Pölönen having a Dream podcast, and he talks about tulevaisuuden lukujärjestys, so the schedule of the future. And it's not that much anymore about like that on Mondays you study mathematics and on Tuesday physics, even though those are also important things. But it's more about this, like how do you actually like develop those soft skills that you actually need to work together with people, which I also think on the Nordic value base is one of our strengths, but not still leveraged to the great heights. And talking about that Nordic collaboration, I know that that's something that you are passionate about, and something that within basketballs and sports have been tried to further on. So what do you think are the biggest challenges in like uniting these Nordic countries when it comes to like, for example, Nordic championships and other activities done together?
Well, myself, I see the Nordic collaboration as it's really important, because we all come from somewhere and we all need somebody. And it's much easier to go to someone that you understand their cultural base, you understand their thoughts, and they also understand you. So there's already a base, there's a home base to build on something. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't be interested in other cultures at all, but you need to have a base. And in this when we have this youth competition for under 16 and under 18 boys and girls, where the Nordic players are they meet each other and they see each other, that gives a base for them for the future in their careers, because they might meet each other later on the court, or they might be in the same teams, or even after their sport career they have something common, a base where they can start to build on. So but this all comes from the Nordic culture. This is that we understand each other, and we have common values.
And the common values are something we have brought up many times during this podcast. And to maybe look at those common values once again, we have openness, trust, compassion, innovation, and sustainability. So kind of like the 5 key elements also to how to become something new every day, how to like develop from what we are, but then also how to share that knowledge to all the people around us. But Henrik, the future looks bright for Finnish basketball. We have like amazing opportunities, also amazing new examples. What do you predict, and what are you going to do within the next 5 years?
Well, I don't think you should predict anything, but of course we dream about. We dream about have more people involved. We want to have more players. We want to have better players, and of course, in sports, it's also about having success. And we are dreaming about that one day some of our teams are bringing home from one of these big competitions, like the Eurobaskets or World Cups, a medal. That's of course that's our dream, and I'm pretty convinced that I will see this someday coming, and when that happens, that's not the end. That's the start of the next level, and I think that's also interesting. That's how sport is. As soon as you start to be comfortable where you are, you're going to start losing, and actually winning is much tougher than losing. Because because winning has a tendency to make you comfortable, and if you start to get comfortable, there is always a competitor who will make sure that you will find out that it's the wrong way, because it's about improving, and as my assistant coach says, winning is a natural way of being.
And I agree with that as well. We are still pretty a few people here, and some say that it's impossible to like be consistently good if you don't have that many resources to choose among. Do you think that is true?
Well, yes and no. it's resources helps in everything. But at the end, the basic resource is the one human being, and if we're able to get every human being in our environment to reach his or her own potential, the resources are endless.
It's really interesting also to look at these endless resources in a way, because we built the Ambitious Africa movement, and in there we always say that we have unlimited resources compared to any other like organization. And why is that? Because there is an unlimited amount of young people outside of all of these different things, young people who have not been given maybe those opportunities they should have, and then they develop this talent that I touched upon, that they could all like become basketball players, or at least try that for a while. So, when is the Euro Cup played?
Well, the next Eurobasket is played for men's 2022, and the women's Eurobasket is played this summer. Unfortunately, Finland is not there, but you should go and cheer out for Sweden there.
Really good. And 2022 is a interesting year, so I think hopefully the pandemic has mostly blown away, so it's kind of like this first year of openness again, and us coming together, so it's in Prague, right?
Yes.
And there we can meet most of the players. Is there coming any new announcements still in the player list, or do we have a set list already?
That's too early to see, but we have a new generation coming out, and part of this new generation is a result of the work that we started 15 years ago. So now we get the first kind of results of this work, and this also shows how long term everything is. That you gotta go into the base, you gotta work on the base, and then you will start to get your results years afterwards, and you gotta have passion and be passionated.
Exactly, and I think this is the like normal millennial problem, is that I need to have everything and I need to have it now. And the more I work with companies, the more I realize that if I would have just focused a bit more on the practice, on those like things that would have taken time to develop, such as dunking, for example, like almost anyone can jump to the basket. Actually, you just keep on jumping and jumping. But I never because it didn't happen in a week. So then I always happen to give up.
The basket was too high for you at the beginning, but you're right. That's you need to go out of your comfort zone, and you have to also you have to accept that you can't win all the time. You can't win all the time. You will make mistakes. You will lose, and that's just a part of the learning process. It's no shame. It's no shame. It's no shame that you're not dunking, but you could still go and work on it if the motivation would be there. And I think it's probably better that you use your energy on something else. Right. you can help the world more in doing something else than dunking the basketball.
Exactly. And maybe here to the end of the podcast. I think one thing has been pretty clear with the like Finnish basketball team, and it's like that you haven't had this extremely big of a rotation in the team, and I think that has been extremely smart move, looking at the like limited resource we have had. But now we can see like a huge wave of new talent coming, so it's like a new wave of building now starting. And how long do you think it will take until that actually starts to bear the fruits?
I have no clue about this.
Okay.
Because I have no clue about the future. Okay. But I know that the better you do you work today, the brighter your future will be tomorrow. So we try to focus on our daily work, and we believe that we do a lot of things together already now. We have systems that a way of working that no one else does in the world. Like we for example, all summers we gather all our best players, boys, girls, women and men together, what we call like an open gym, and we train them all summer. They are like a family, so they come together and we feed them, and we the people who are not having a place to stay, we give them a place to stay, and so that means that we are investing very much in this togetherness and this family feeling. So and also that trying to show to the players that we do the best we can for you to improve and have the best possible career and reach your full potential. And we're sure we get back, that will pay back.
Amazing. And what would be your 3 main tips or encouraging words or sentences for the young people out there, those who are thinking about maybe starting basketball or maybe wanting to like build something in their lives?
Well, follow your heart. I think that's one of the key things. There is you got to find the place where there is the passion, which is what you're passionate for, and what is important for you. But at the same time, don't give up, because that's one thing we learn easily. And when you learn it once, you know it for life. So don't give up is, I think, the be passionate. Don't give up, and don't be scared of trying to find your own way.
Amazing. And if you want to become a part of the Susi family or the basketball family here in Finland, what do you recommend people to do? How can they get in contact, or where can they follow the things that are happening?
Basket.fi is our website, and from there you have to get all the information about the sixth player and all the future ticket sales, and then if you want to play basketball in some local club, you will also get the contacts information from there.
Okay. And is there any big basketball events from the Finnish side coming up now in the summer and the fall?
This is pandemic, so no prognosis. But let's see. We are working on things where we have something for this year and also years to come. It is for sure you will see something big coming up, but probably today is too early to talk about it.
Really good. And you're not that active on social medias, right? But is there any way people can follow Henrik Dettmann?
No.
So
I am. For me, social media is not the thing, and there I have my thoughts about social media, but I leave it for us privately. Then it's social media has its good parts, but it also has its weak parts. And I think the good part of the social media that it gives everybody a platform to communicate. But I think you also have to understand that when you go for a platform, there is a responsibility.
Exactly. So if someone wants to see Henrik, you will see him on the court.
Live.
Not in the court, hopefully.
Hopefully not. No, that usually ends up in a technical foul, so you better stay out of that.
Do you have something you would like to say here in the end? Something you would like to bring up?
No, probably I would just like to thank you for the opportunity to be here. Really interesting topic, and I wish you good luck. I think what you're doing with all these different platforms with bringing people together in the world, I think that's a mission for all of us.
Thank you so much, and it was an honor to have you here. It was an honor to touch your brain a bit more, and looking forward to more discussions in the near future. Thank you.